yeah, yeah. Saying, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Learn From Texas channel. I've missed you all. It's been a little bit. Life has been lifing, okay? But we are back and we're going to be discussing one of my favorite shows in this whole wide world. If you've seen my vlogs, you know that my favorite show ever is Insecure, okay? So I'm thinking about just kind of making this a series where I dive into different topics on Insecure. But since the last video that I created, Sex in the City, did so well and is doing great, and thank you! Look, thank everyone who has looked at that video, commented on that video, looked at any of my videos, really. But anyway, since that video did so well, of course I'm gonna talk about the friendship dynamic in Insecure. This is gonna be about Issa and Molly. So, get you a glass of wine. I have some, okay? Get you a little sip, get you a snack. Girl, get you some dinner. I don't know, get cozy. I'm gonna get cozy on the couch. And we're gonna get into some things. Okay, so Insecure launched on YouTube. Actually, the show is called Awkward Black Girl. It was created by Issa Rae. And it talked about like her life experiences. And I love the YouTube series because I feel like Awkward Black Girl displayed women and I guess you could say millennial culture in a different light. It was from the aspect of Issa, who's like this very intelligent but awkward black girl. And I feel like that hadn't really been displayed in media like that, right? So she had the YouTube series, and then in 2016, she launched the show Insecure on HBO. It ran for 5 seasons, the best 5 seasons of my life. And we were introduced to the characters that we're gonna talk about today, and that is Issa and Molly. Okay, so when we meet Issa, she's in a relationship with Lawrence. She is working at a dead-end job called We Got Y'all. And, you know, life is like, okay. It's like her 29th birthday. It's not like, it is her 29th birthday, and she goes to dinner with her friend, Molly. Molly is a attorney. She works in corporate America. She is what all would deem as successful by, you know, society standards. She has a nice car, she lives in a very nice apartment, and she's a lawyer, right? But Molly struggles in the romance department.
It's like it doesn't matter what I do, Issa. If I'm into them, then I'm too smothering. If I take my time and try to give them space, oh, I didn't think you were into me. Fine, sex right away, lose interest. Wait to have sex, lose interest. If I don't have sex at all, I fucking know.
A struggle. Whew, does she struggle in that romance apartment? But it makes for great TV. So we see this friendship between the two ladies. And from all, you know, at least from this first episode, this first season, we think that it's a pretty normal, what seems to be healthy relationship between two beautiful black women. So as season 1 goes on, we start to notice that or at least I start to notice. Now, y'all tell me in the comments if you notice this. But Molly kind of looks down at Issa because, you know, Issa is, you know, she be broke. Issa be broke.
I was gonna return this.
Okay? You know, Issa is not a lawyer. You know, they live in California. The cost of living is high, okay? And she kind of subtly looks down at Issa for, you know, not having as much money as her, I think. But I also think that she looks down on Issa's decisions, right? Now, Issa, let's talk about Issa's feeling towards Molly. Hold on. Okay, so one of the things that stick out, because I, like, want to feel creative and I'm not gonna just look at the notes that I created, so I'm just go off the dome with this, okay? When the first thing I can remember being like, what the fuck, was when Issa and Molly go to the club, right? Issa kind of coerces Molly into going to this club.
You need to go out tonight.
No.
I'm taking you out. Be ready at 8.
Wait,
So really, Issa's intentions are like not in the right place, because Issa wants to go and see this guy who she used to know back in the day named Daniel, okay? Because Issa's not very happy with Lawrence. So anyway, she kind of leans on Molly as like a support blanket. Like she couldn't go by herself. She got to have her good homegirl go with her. And then she, in the effort to kind of impress Daniel, makes a song called
Broken Pussy.
Oh my God, she's talking about me.
Maybe it's really rough. Maybe it's had enough broken pussy.
So this is when we see Issa and Molly kind of have their first of one of many disputes. So they get in the car and Molly is mad because, Issa then rapped about her broken and tells her that she's selfish and that she only brought her out for, what is the word I'm looking for? Selfish reasons. And Issa, in the middle of Molly going off on her, start texting Daniel because he want her to come through, child. He want her to come through.
I care about how shit affects you too. I always listen to you.
Nigga, you only listen to me because I make you feel better about you. You don't want to go out tonight. You dragged me out here. Then I meet a decent dude. I mean, you should have seen how fast Jared left me. What?
So Molly makes a statement to Issa that if she goes and see Daniel, that she is just much of a as she is. And Issa goes and sees Daniel and, they kiss, but Issa get all awkward and weird about it. And then they come back together at the end of the episode and Issa spends the night.
Bitch, you still mad?
Bitch, you still tripping?
Okay, so what I gathered from this first season, or from that first interaction between them two, is that Issa can be selfish when it comes to her and Molly's relationship. Issa can, look, I know Molly get a bad rep in this, on the show, in that friendship, but Issa, she had flaws too, as we all do. She had flaws. Issa was selfish sometimes. She'll pull you into some stuff for her own, but framing it as something else, but she really got ulterior motives, okay? But another thing I noticed though is that they all have these disputes and then it just kind of get swept under the rug. It's like, okay, we had a dispute. I didn't we didn't have words, and now it's just like, okay, girl, but we're gonna eat these Cheetos, and so it's not any resolution a lot of time that come from that. So after that, we see Issa and Molly, being good girlfriends, interacting with each other, giving each other advice. It might not always be the best advice, but they doing the best they can, as we do in relationships. And the next kind of big moment in their friendship is an argument that they have when Issa is having like a charity party for the children that she's been working with at We Got Y'all, and Molly comes. Okay, so at this party, honey, the argument that Issa and Molly had, look, I love my best friend down, okay? But I've never spoke to my best friend the way Issa and Molly spoke to each other in this argument, okay? It was spicy. It was really spicy, okay?
Okay, have you noticed, Molly, the common denominator in all your can't find a man bullshit is you? Yeah, let's do the nigga rundown, Molly. 1 minute, he's too thirsty. The next minute, he's too distant. The next, he's too gay.
You can't commit to anything. Did I say shit when you were complaining about your job for 5 fucking years? Like, you can't change that shit? You've been on the fence whining about your relationship forever. But did I say a motherfucking thing about that?
So they end up, getting over this argument and, well, they don't get over it actually, but they part ways, okay? Lawrence leaves Issa, or he finds out about, Daniel. He got Blue's Clues on it and figured things out. And, so Issa's life is a mess, right? As far as romance is concerned, life is a mess, right? But remember, like I said before, when Issa and Molly have an argument, they just kind of sweep it under the rug and, okay, we had that argument, but what's good, girl? It's finna be Kelly's birthday and Kelly's wanting to go out of town. But this time, Molly's like, nah, sis, I'm mad. And she kind of holding a little piece of grudge. she holding a little piece of grudge, okay? And Issa like, okay, so, you know, what the fuck, right? Like, this is not how we handle things, right? Usually. So Molly, in an effort to, you know, be more, less rigid, I guess, when it comes to dating, Molly dating life was all over the place, y'all. But she's go home with a man from the club. He wasn't even that cute either. She went home with a man from the club, had her little one piece of one night stand, okay? So Issa's like, oh, okay, we having a little piece of one night stand, okay? So later that day, Kelly and Tiffany, because Kelly and Tiffany is also good friends with Molly and Issa. They're like kind of close, and then there's Issa and Molly. They are all in the hot tub, you know, having a kiki about the festivities. And Kelly's she kind of started throwing shade at Molly. She's throwing a little shade at her, honey.
Oh, okay. So new Molly chooses for niggas to walk up out of her life. I got it.
So Issa comes to Molly's defense because another thing that they have that I've noticed in their relationship is, and a lot of people have this too, I can say what I want about you, but can't nobody else. Like, I can say something about you, but if somebody else come in and say something about you, no, you can't do that. And so they have that moment, and that kind of reconnects them. They kind of bond over that. Like,
You're my best friend. You're my body goals.
You were right about me. I'm a fucking mess.
like, okay, you know, we said some stuff to each other, but you got my back. And they always had each other's back. Now, I will give them that. They had their flaws, but they always had the other person back. So, and Issa gonna need somebody to have her back, honey, because Lawrence packed up his stuff. Because remember, he didn't find out about Brother Daniel down to the charity event. And he has left her empty. The house, well, you know, the whole house ain't empty, but his side of the closet is gone, child. He has flew the coop. So now they kind of need each other a little bit more. Now, Issa stay needing a shoulder to lean on, okay? And Molly gives that shoulder. But in return, Molly gets to look down on Issa. Let's talk some more. We're gonna keep getting into it, okay? So now we in season 2, okay? And the ladies have made a phrase, and it's called Malibu. Because remember, Kelly's party, her birthday celebration, was in Malibu, where they kind of reconciled. So whenever the other one wants to tell somebody like the brutal truth, they say Malibu, and then they say the brutal truth.
Malibu, you stupid. Malibu, shut the fuck up.
But they're still not really being quite open with each other. So what they do is there'll be a little discretion, or like a little, is that the word? Discretion? Indigression? A problem between the two of them. And instead of really hashing it out and speaking about those problems that they have, they kind of bottle things up a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? They don't fully talk about it. And I can completely understand that, because I can do that myself. Like, if I have a problem with something, maybe somebody says something I ain't like, or, you know what I mean? I won't address it, like, right out. And then it builds and builds and bottles up till there's an explosion. So a good example of this is Molly. She was feeling undervalued at her job because she works primarily with Caucasian coworkers. And I mean, she does have that Asian coworker too, the Asian girl who got married. But she finds out that her cohort, her peer, a white man, he's getting paid more than her. And so she comes to Issa, you know, wanting advice and wanting support. And Issa kind of brushes it off, really. She's not very supportive of Molly during this time. Also, too, Issa is freshly single, okay? Not by choice. She is single, though. And she has decided to create a hotation. A hotation where Molly teaches her how to hoe.
Can you teach me how to hoe?
Bitch, that's rude. And yes.
And although Molly introduces her to, the dating apps and, she looks down on Issa's hotation. She is judgmental of her dating multiple men during this singledom that she is now faced with. And tensions grow, honey. Okay, so, season 2, they still have like their, little small issues, but for the most part, they still maintain a pretty healthy friendship for the most part. I mean, it has its flaws, our relationships do, but season 3 is when all of these things come to a nasty head. Really bad. So they're going through really big life changes in season 3. Issa has quit her job at We Got Y'all, okay? She is over it. She does not have she don't got them, okay? We got them, but Issa don't. You see, look, I'm gonna probably cut that out because that joke didn't land. But anyway, Issa decides that she wants to start or create a block party. And I do have the sweatshirt from the block party because the block is hot. Okay, my husband bought this for me. I love Insecure. But anyway, she is trying to figure out what she wants to do, really, right? And so she later decides to make this block party, right? Now, Molly, of course, being judgy if Issa is like, okay, you didn't quit your job, girl. Yeah, you didn't quit your damn job. Issa is driving Lyft because she has to, create income. She couldn't afford to live in her house or her apartment anymore with Lawrence gone. So she moves in with Daniel of all people, and they supposed to be being roommates or he looking out for her, whatever. And, she has provided all of these a big basket of things for Molly to judge. And so she does just that. She judges Issa. And on the other hand, Issa is not making the best decisions. But she's trying. And, she just needed Molly to support her and not always judge, okay? So anyway, Issa decides that she's gonna create this block party, and Molly kind of brushes it off, okay, girl, you gonna create this block party? Okay, whatever. In the meantime, in Molly's life, Molly has joined a new firm, a black firm, and she's wanting the firm to high-key kind of operate like her old firm, but this is a new place, right? And Molly is a bit of a little control freak, and she's just not getting along with her coworkers at her new firm.
I thought these boxes were going into storage.
Your office is the storage.
Okay. It's just at my old firm, we use the off-site storage.
It's actually convenient when you get used to it.
And she doesn't really feel supported by Issa. When she comes to talk to Issa about that, she doesn't really feel supported. There is a scene that I can think of right now where Issa and Molly go for a hike. And, Issa have her hotation. The hotation now because she's, she's single and doing her thing, okay? On Daniel's couch. And Molly kind of looks off, and in the background, Issa is talking. Because they're growing apart and not really communicating. And, yeah.
Did not serve me fucking a nigga with 2 kids and a 3rd one on the way. But I'm proud of me, low-key, because it was hard to let him go, to be honest, because that dick was thin.
Okay, so Molly, I'm in an effort to make sure I'm not confusing the seasons with the events. I'm going to just stop mentioning season numbers, y'all. Okay, so look, Molly starts dating Andrew. She met Andrew through Nathan, because Issa's starting to date someone named Nathan, and we're going to talk about Nathan and Issa in another video, okay? But they're dating 2 friends or whatever, and Molly is very protective of her relationship with Andrew because she's trying to be different than she's been in past relationships, and she recognizes that there are some she's not the best at dating. So she's trying to, you know, go at this with kid gloves, okay? So Issa, remember, she is making her block party, and she got an artist because she wants it to be like kind of mimic Coachella. He dropped out, right? And so during this season, they are not really seeing it for each other, okay? Not really. It's real passive aggressive. You know, all of those bottled up emotions and bottled up issues that they have with one another, they are coming to a head.
Oh, okay. What the fuck is up? Because that was unnecessary.
You were coming for me.
And I feel like you've been coming for me. What's going on?
I don't know, girl, but the last couple of months, it just feels like we've been
Off.
Quickly, okay? So, Molly, Issa, you know, she now remember, Issa can be a little selfish, and she needs Andrew to assist her with getting a new artist because he works for an A&R firm, right? A music firm, whatever. And Molly's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want it to get too messy.
What do you say? Actually, I didn't ask him, and I don't think I'm going to.
I don't understand. Did y'all break up?
No. I just think it's best for me to keep those parts of my life separate.
Issa goes behind her back and gets Andrew to get an artist for her. This is not good. This is not good. So they go to the block party, and Molly's already had, you know, they're not seeing eye to eye at this point, but she goes because that's her best friend, right? So Molly is looking for this block party to be mid. I think the children call it mid, but it is really beautiful. It's dope. It's professional. Also too, during this time, Issa has become really good friends with someone named Condola. Condola got introduced to her by Tiffany at her baby shower. And Condola is dating Lawrence.
No, his name is Lawrence.
You know? And they find out, or Issa finds out about this while they're planning this block party. And she continues to work with Condola. Molly does, she just, you know, Molly judges Issa. So she feels like, damn girl, your life's so messy.
What are you doing?
I can't afford all this. The block party's been 2 months, and me and Condola are in the thick of it.
I don't know why you keep acting like everything's cool with that.
Like, you know, and Issa life can be messy. But anyway, the block party is a success. But at the end of the night, Molly finds out that Andrew got the artist for Issa. And it was a nasty fight. You know, they didn't have their arguments, but baby, this argument here, I thought they was finna like square up. And let me tell you something, if you square up with a friend, if you physically fight a friend, I feel like that's the end. Like, you could never come back from fighting your friend.
You are so miserable. If things don't work out with Andrew, it's not gonna be because of me, girl.
Fuck you.
Fuck me, I've been stopped fucking with you.
I should have dropped your line ass a long time ago. You still the same selfish bitch you always been.
But they didn't fight, okay? They ended up just, you know, somebody thought Molly had a gun. So everybody started running.
Get your finger out of my fucking face.
What you gonna do? What's she reaching for? Now there's got a gun! He's got a gun. Is it a knife? Is it a wallet? This is my life.
Oh, niggas can't have nothing.
And it is quite literally the worst argument that they've had. They are not speaking to each other. Usually, you know, they'll come back together and make up and sweep it under the rug, not really discuss what happened. This time, nope, they are not speaking to each other. Of course, Issa, she has something happen in her life. I believe Lawrence comes back into her life. And Molly is her best friend. The only person who she really wants to talk about this situation to is Molly. And she miss her friend. That's her homegirl. She don't quite think that she was completely wrong in the shit. But, you know, she reaches out to Molly like, hey, girl, you know, in an attempt to brush it under the rug, not talk about what happened, let's go to brunch, okay? Now, Issa, you know, her block party did good, okay? Issa got her own place now. Issa is not, you know, brokey. She's not that much of a brokey anymore. She's doing better for herself, okay? So they have this, you know, horrible fight, and Issa throws the white flag, and they have brunch. Issa thinking it's gonna be like how it is in the past, right? Like, we'll just sweep it under the rug, it'll be fine, and, you know, everything will go back to normal.
Good. Yeah, it's good and busy.
You know Torian popped up on my Explore page? That nigga loves to rollerblade.
Wait, what?
But Molly, that's not where she at anymore. Molly is seeing the therapist. She would like resolution, okay? But she's not trying either. She did not reach out to Issa after the argument because she feels like she's right and Issa was wrong.
But Issa was out of line. The same could be said of Victor and Torian and Dro and your dad. They were all out of line at some point. You're absolutely right, but you want to be right, or do you want to be in relationship?
They go to brunch, and, you know, they have a cute kiki. During this brunch, this is where I learned the phrase, a light-skinned mimosa. A light-skinned mimosa is pretty much champagne with a little drop of orange juice. It's light-skinned. But anyway, they thinking that it's all good, that it's fine, you know, or at least Issa is anyway, right? So, you know, Issa is starting to see Lawrence again, but she's also still like in this weird kind of, you know, friendship thing with Nathan. Remember, Nathan and Andrew are friends. They used to live together, and Nathan is moving out. So Issa helps Nathan move out, and they all kind of, it's like a, you know, random kind of kickback that kind of happens when she and Nathan goes over to Andrew and Nathan's old spot. So they're playing a game, and Molly texts Andrew, or at least she thinks she's texting Andrew, and she's like, see, I'm trying with her. And it goes to Issa.
Feet 11.
Oh my God, her body is unfair. I feel like she did something great in another life.
She did something right in this life. She did a whole lot of right in this life because she looks blessed and highly favored.
Yeah, I swear.
And Issa's like, what the hell? Like, I thought that we were, you know, doing what we usually do. We argue, we sweep it under the rug. And Molly's like, nah, like, I feel like we're growing apart. And Issa's like, okay.
I don't know, maybe who you are now and who I am now just don't fit anymore.
Okay.
Well, I mean, she tried, you know? So we are left with that. Later in the season, Issa gets some news. She finds out that Condoleezza Rice, condescending, is pregnant. That'll all make sense when I make other videos about Issa and Lawrence's relationship. Condoleezza Rice is pregnant, okay? And in Molly's life, Andrew has broken up with her because she's judgmental and she can be selfish and pretentious. And we end that season with them coming together and having that hard, necessary talk about their friendship.
I'm glad you came.
I'm glad you called.
So now we on the last season, y'all. The girls go to their school's reunion, and it's awkward. So you ever fell out with your good girlfriend? I mean, a good fallout. And then y'all have a hard talk about it. Y'all have a come to Jesus about it. And you get resolution. But then it be just a little awkward. Not that it's completely awkward, but you know, y'all have some words and it just can be a little bit awkward. You know what I mean? So
Are we gonna be okay?
You talking about the world or you talking about us?
I don't know, I just want shit to be cool.
they having this little awkward moment, but Molly in her own life, she is growing, she is single, she is really taking a deep dive into herself. She starts listening to affirmations, taking therapy serious. She's actually being single and not trying to date anybody.
We can always change what's happening within us.
I'm gonna embrace it, Kelly Rowland.
Issa, she's building her business. She not a brokey.
The block is hot. The block is hot. Thank you.
They took, and this is so important, they both took time to grow themselves personally, right? They were self-reflective, right? They were vulnerable. And I think that's very important in any relationship, that both people can be accountable, hold themselves accountable, and be honest with themselves, right? And improve themselves so that you can be better in relationship. And that's what they do, right? So they both grow separately. Finally, something happens that breaks the awkwardness. They had a city girl friend in college, and she robbed them.
Where's Cheyenne? She robbed us.
What?
You lying.
But finally, the awkwardness behind all of the past things, it breaks, and they are back good girlfriends. The last season is my favorite season in regards to Issa and Molly's relationship, because they root for each other, right? They hold each other accountable, but in love. Molly is no longer judgmental of Issa. Issa is not using Molly anymore. She can pay for brunch now. You know what I mean? She can be there for Molly more. Her life is more calm and settled and more structured, so that she can really give Molly good advice, actually. They love each other. They holding each other down, okay? And at the end of the whole season, the final shot is Issa's birthday. She's married to Lawrence, and she has a stepson. We'll talk about this more. She has a stepson, okay? And Molly married someone from her firm, okay? Someone who she couldn't stand at first. They used to argue all the time, but then she worked on herself, and then she found love in a hopeless place, bless her heart. And the ending scene is she calls her on the phone, and they're talking, and Issa just walks out of frame.
Hello.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. How's Grease?
Honestly, girl, I ain't seen much of it, because we've been getting it in. I think this nigga might have really up and broke my pussy.
Oh, so now you claiming it. Now it's funny.
All the things can happen. The men came in and out of their lives, drama, other friendships, but you know what stayed the same? Them two. They stayed, well, they didn't stay the same because they grew, but the bond was always there. It was beautiful. I loved it. Of course, it's realistic, okay? Because, you know, it's a relationship. And I feel like it's one of the most important relationships in a woman's life. It's her with her best friend. So anyway, I hope that you liked this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with your good friend, okay? Share with your best friend, honey. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.